David Maldonado says, what's up, champ? I snuck in 2 questions for you in one. Please compare the difference in power between Miguel Cotto and Danny Garcia, and who wins prime for prime. How? Please be as specific as possible. Danny versus Cotto at 140 and at 147.
Yeah, that's a really multi-layered question.
Tell me about it.
Cotto's power is more like it's like brute strength, you know. It's like it hurts when it hits you, you know. It's like, but there's not enough snap on Cotto's shots. He's almost like a boulder, you know. There's not enough snap on Cotto's shot. Sometimes it hurts so bad that you just wish he'd put you out of your misery by having some snap on it and knocking you out cold, right? That's how bad it hurts, you know. It's just a heavy shot. While Garcia has that whipping hook, sort of like I don't want to compare it to Trinidad, because Trinidad has an amazing whipping hook, but it's in that mold, in that if it touches you right, you'll go to sleep, you know, because it has that whip. It has that, which is, to me, that whip, that snap is the off switch. Cotto never had the off switch because he doesn't have enough snap on it. It's just a redundant, like heavy shot. So you almost, it hurts bad. I feel like that's worse, because that hurts so much you almost wish you put a snap on it and puts you out of your misery, but it just keeps you in there, and you got to decide whether you're going to break or not, you know? While guys like Danny Garcia, even Trinidad, or guys in that mode with a whipping hook, if that hits you right, you're going to sleep, you know? I think Cotto was a more complete fighter, but Danny's very durable. I mean, I would pick Cotto to win because he's more refined, so to speak. But it will be a good fight. I tell you, it will be a good fight because Danny's durable and Danny's dangerous. And when he punches with you the way he does, Cotto's fundamentals are amazing. Though I would pick Cotto on points, a rare points win at 140 pounds for Cotto, because Cotto was not knocking most guys out. But I would pick Cotto on points because Danny is a very durable guy, and he'd handle himself well in that fight.
All right, we got Ruin of 504 New Orleans that says, what are some of the benefits of having your own platform?
You kind of get to break it down the way you want to. You don't have to play the team membership role that you do at some networks. You just can kind of break down a fight the way you want to. You can speak as much as you want to, you know, to your platform. You know, you can break things down your way, and you know, I don't know. I feel like I have that creative control there with my platform, and also you can, you know, YouTube has ways to you can be monetized if you get that followers, subscribers up, and all that good stuff. So, you know, if you have a good team and you're coming up with creative content, and you have a love for what you're doing, which, you know, having your own channel, obviously you have to have a love for whatever you're talking about. I think the platform is a great way to go. Once you create that subscriber base, they become loyal, and that's, you know, this too. So it becomes pretty cool. It's almost like a family. While in Showtime or a big network, you don't really have that connection with your
fans,
viewers,
yeah.
with your viewers. You know, you're not really answering to the comments. You're not really paying attention to the comments. It's just a straight corporate network. And a lot of times the corporate networks want to have that favoritism, you know, so you can't really be yourself. And I feel like that's what fans want to see. Fans don't want to see the favoritism. They want to see you be yourself, which sometimes hurts and sometimes it doesn't. You know, when you're yourself, they don't agree with you. They're all up against you. And when they agree with you, they appreciate you. Say, oh, that's why you're not on a corporate network, because, you know, you speak your mind. So that can also be very fickle in that way. But I think it's cool. You know, it's definitely an advantage overall. You know, and it's been fun. I'll tell you this. I will put it like this: a corporate network like Showtime, and I'm sure all the other corporate networks, make you live in fear of losing that job, because there's only so many of those kind of jobs, right? Because there's only so many networks that have that kind of platform. And when I was there, I knew I was good at what I was doing, but they almost make you live in fear. Like, don't mess this up, you know, like, you know, do good, don't mess it up, you know, raise your level of your game, and, you know, don't do anything to get yourself tossed out of this. Because, you know, sometimes I wanted to work. I remember when Fox came into the game with PBC, they wanted me. And so I was hoping to work with both Fox and Showtime, because the networks were never going to compete against each other on the same night, unlike another network. So I thought they would be allowed. And my bosses at Showtime didn't let me. And I remember I was kind of giving them of pushback about it, and they were like, listen, man, you know, don't get yourself outed with with this kind of network, because, you know, there's only so many of these openings, you know. And I remember, like, kind of letting it hit me, as in, like, man, I gotta be careful, you know, like, I'm kind of one of the fortunate ones to have this. And then when I lost it,
a bunch of opportunities opened up for you,
bro. I would go as far as to say, I make very close to what my ex-boss was making. Not what I was making at Showtime, what my ex-boss was making. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't like to talk about finances because, you know, I feel like this is something this generation does. You know, you do something because you love it. And I love to talk about boxing regardless. So I'm happy and fortunate that all of a sudden I found myself on all these different with all these different opportunities and platforms to just talk boxing and exchange ideas in a real way. Like, you can't do it on Showtime the way we do it here on the Boxing Voice, for example. You know, like it's just you know.
And what you're doing with Antonio and Roy.
Yeah, at ProBox.
You guys are phenomenal together. I watched the.
Well, that's the thing, Ness. A lot of people always say, you know, I wish there was a broadcast team with Paulie and Roy, or Paulie and Andre Ward, or Paulie and Antonio, and now all of a sudden it just came together. We're all together, and I'm also able to show people how I can speak in Spanish too, because my Spanish has kind of just evolved through the years because I speak Italian, and I've been on a couple of the Spanish broadcasts with Juan Manuel Marquez in the marketing campaign as well. And obviously, people that see me on Paulie TV have already seen that my Spanish is, you know, it's not perfect, but it's conversation. It's enough where I can have a conversation, you know. And so it's allowed me to almost broaden that out. And I don't think people realized a lot of things about me when I had to be that corporate guy. Not that it was ever tying me down, like I was choosing it, but you know, you can only show so much of yourself because you don't really get any other opportunities to show more of yourself. Well, with your own brand and
that platform isn't
now
developed.
You're able to do that. Yeah, exactly.
It's not developed in a way that can show Paulie's personal side and
it's not
open, you know, your audience
and
to
with Paulie TV and now with ProBox. I'll tell you what, I was with Boxer from the beginning. Boxers now has a Sky contract. And I remember when Ben Shalom came up to me and the president of Boxer, and he said, when it was the idea, he just came up with me with this idea. We went for lunch, we talked in London, it was just an idea. And then, like, I gave him my thoughts on something. And, you know, he told me he wanted to be part of the project. And I remember doing it as a side job. I was allowed to do the little side jobs when I was at Showtime because as long as they were not competing entities. And anything foreign is not competing with an American network. So I was always allowed to do foreign stuff. That's why I did a lot of stuff with Sky back in the day. So I remember when it was just an idea, and just being part of that little idea, it grew all the way to now. Now, I'm not always able to be with them because I've got my own stuff going on, but I still run back and forth with Boxer all the time. I handle some affairs for them too, as an American contact with them. But still, while just having been part of a growing network, of a growing brand, from when it was just an idea, and now in February, I wasn't there, but they sold out the Men Arena for Conor Brook. They promoted that show. Like, and I remember you when it was just an idea. And Ben Shalom was younger than me. You know what I mean? He's a young kid. So like, it feels cool to be part of, to be able to say, yo, man, I can be a part of something that grows. Yo, I'm that much of an important, intricate part of the brand of the sport of boxing. Like, if I don't work for you, it's not the end of the world. I can actually be something without you. You're gonna need me more than I'm gonna need you, but you never feel that way until you get your own platform. And then you realize, well, if you have the branding and if you have the material, the stuff that people want, which I do, all of a sudden you find out, bro, you'll be in demand like crazy. So, yo, I'm excited. The same way that Boxer grew the way it grew, I think I can help the brand, the ProBox TV brand now. You know, they came in aggressive. They got me, Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver. For the Spanish broadcast, they picked up Juan Manuel Marquez, and they're going to include me on some of the Spanish broadcasts. You know, we got Mike Goldberg on the play-by-play, who was the voice of the UFC for like 25 years. You know, like, I think
and you guys got a new venue now. You're no longer doing it there, right? You have a casino.
No, we got some casino deals on the side. We still have our venue. But also, you know, off the jump, our first show is Jean Pascal and Mang Fan Long, right? It's a nice main event. It's got an ex-world champion involved. We want to kind of start building it and become like the old Friday Night Fights where we have boxing content. Remember the old Friday Night Fights where
on ESPN?
Where you could talk about any show. Like now, every channel has a contract with a promoter, so they only talk about those promoters' fights. You know what I mean? Like, so we want to be like that, just boxing content channel. Yeah, we're gonna have our own content and our own live shows like Pascal and Mang Fan Long, but we also just want to be that boxing channel. Me, Roy, and Antonio are going to have a show together. You know what I mean? Not just the broadcast, but also our show, our weekly show. Yeah. So I think, you know, the chance people get, that's by the way, that's $1.99 a month, guys. I mean, it's crazy. To me, it's a no-brainer. And $18 a year, which if you do $18 a year, it becomes out to $1.50 a month. So I mean, it's a no-brainer for me if for any boxing fan to order it.
How many shows are they doing a year, you think?
They're going to do 2 to 3 live events a month.
Wow.
they're not all going to be as big as having a Pascal card, but they want to do at least one where there's a bigger one. They're going to do a.
No, well, boxing is. They're going to
be doing little tournaments. One we have it's called Last Chance, with guys who maybe were prospects at one time and they fell off, and now they kind of have to fight each other. They're in a pot. Yeah, so we're doing something like that. And we have a Future Stars promo where we're going to start showcasing our future stars as well. So I think we're doing a lot of things, but also we're going to talk about all the other fights, boxing and stuff like that on our weekly shows. So I got picked up for something like that. Then I got my own channel, Paulie TV. Then FightStars.tv started. I started working with Fight Stars, and Fight Stars has been amazing with me. And I met the Fight Stars team when I did that podcast, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on YouTube when it was me, Cotto, and Zab just talking about our rivalry in the pros. I mean, that's been getting crazy hits on YouTube. People love that conversation. I know, guys, I spoke too much. I spoke more than anybody else. I'm a chatterbox, but nonetheless, I just wanted to make sure people, I appreciate the guys I fought, man. Beat them or lost to them, I appreciate it. I'm so thankful that I was able to share the ring with these guys because it allowed me to make a living and just, like, people look back at these fights, whether I won or lost, like, yo, I was part of a big fight. Yo, that was part of that big fight. So but when I did that, it allowed me to meet Patrick Oakes from Fight Stars as well. So again, the platform, going back to the original channel, I veered off, but having my own platform has been a big advantage, more of an advantage than I could have ever thought. It's been really good.
Amazing. James Valdez in San Antonio, Texas says, love the podcast you did on the post-fight interview against Juan Baby Bull Diaz in Houston, Texas. My question, which former fighter do you see as a great current trainer, and which do you see as not so good as a trainer despite their desire to do so?
That's kind of a long-winded question because you got to go through a lot of different guys. First of all, a lot of trainers are ex-fighters, and yeah, I think Ronnie is a good trainer. His volume speaks for itself. But I think maybe he's talking about it in the rematch. I remember in the rematch when I heard Juan Diaz, Ronnie told him to take the next round off. Which, like, you were already behind a few rounds. So I remember thinking about that later on. I might have talked about it on the podcast. But I was saying, like, yo, I don't think that was the instructions for Juan in that moment, even though maybe it made him survive until he wasn't hurt again. But as far as trainers, I don't know, man. I don't want to criticize anybody because here's the thing that I learned in my life, right? I've worked with various trainers. Some worked for me, some didn't work for me. Here's the thing that I learned in my life. A trainer may be bad for you or good for you, and then he may be the opposite for somebody else. It all depends on your strengths and weaknesses, and it depends on what trainers have, strengths and weaknesses they have. When I was young, people said, "Oh, a good trainer can just adapt to your style. Like he'll understand your style and make you better." In reality, what I learned, the reality is every trainer has their style that they work with. And if you have to understand you as a fighter and your management when you're young, because when you're young, you don't have this understanding. Your management can't be a bunch of dummies. They have to understand if you stylistically blend well with the style of a particular trainer, no matter how big of a name trainer he is. So it's a marriage, so to speak, and it has to work well in a balanced act. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I may say a trainer is good. You may say, oh, what ex-trainers what ex-fighters are good or bad. Guys that I may say are good or bad, another fighter may give you the opposite response because it all depends stylistically how you blend and how you mesh well. The trainer definitely, though, that I've learned will not adjust to your style. He will not adjust to your style. So you've got to know as a fighter and as a style that you have what trainer is good for you and works well with a fighter with fighters with your kind of instincts, and which trainer, more importantly, which trainers don't work well, so you know which ones to avoid as well.
Paulie, they trying to get you here, man. Don't fall for this one.
I know.
Can you explain how you only gave Wilder 3 rounds in the first Fury fight?
I mean, I don't think it was that difficult. I mean, Fury jabbed the hell out of him. Wilder, I mean, we just talk about 20 minutes ago. This guy, I'm sure, was this guy listening? I'm sure we were criticizing Ryan Garcia for not cutting off the ring against Tago. I mean, did Wilder not do the exact same thing? Only he got his head jabbed off the whole night while he was following Fury around the ring. You know what I mean? So, he would have lost more than 3 rounds. He just got the knockdowns in both rounds. He would have lost round 12 for sure if he didn't get the knockdown. You know what I mean? Like, Like, I don't know why it's such a shock. He barely won the rounds that he got the knockdowns in, let alone how I got 3 rounds in. You're lucky he got the knockdown, so he at least won 3 rounds in the fight. Otherwise, he wouldn't have even won 3 rounds in the fight.
So which round did you give him? Which third round?
Because now we're talking about a fight 3 years ago, but I don't remember. But I remember, like, after 5 rounds, Floyd Mayweather tapping me on my shoulder, and I had to take off my headset like this. I remember I was like this. In between rounds, it was either between 4 and 5, between 5 and 6. I don't remember now because, like I said, it's almost 3 years ago. But I remember getting a tap on my shoulder and being looking at
Paulie, if you want to move here so those headphones are closer.
No, it's fine. Hold on. I just don't want to lose my train of thought next, you know? So I remember like getting a tap on my shoulder, and I look back and it's Floyd. So now I'm on live TV. So I got to take my headset off because when we work on live TV, the mic is here. So I got to go like, what's up? You know, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, yo. I only got to win in 1 round. How you got it? And I'm like,
that's insane.
And I'm like, yeah. I thought I'm not going crazy, right? He's like, no, it's crazy, you know. So
how'd you?
Now I knew like I wasn't going crazy. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching a fight. I'm like, this guy's not effective. He's coming forward. He's not being effective.
Do those things even hit you? Like, I mean, if Floyd taps me and asks my opinion on a fucking live fight in the moment.
Well, he was in the corral, so he was sitting right behind us already.
I don't care. That's a big moment for me. It doesn't matter for you that like he values your opinion that much.
I mean, later on you think about it and it's cool, but in the moment, you're just like caught up in this fight because remember this fight was a big fight. You know,
it's a huge fight.
In the moment you're just caught up in it, and it's fun to see like even somebody like Floyd caught up in it. You know what I mean? Because people always think about Floyd's all about himself.
Bet Fury
really, Floyd is all about it. You know what I mean? Floyd is all.
No, he bet that fight. Remember, he bet.
But it was
Fury.
a draw. But it was a draw that fight.
No, I won on that draw. I bet the draw. I got Dual Ingram who says, as a retired fighter, you've been through a lot. You've been sucked into a lot of situations. How do you, as a very popular man, make sure not to end up in a Mike Tyson situation on an airplane? Also, what advice would you give to someone like David who is fastly gaining in popularity?
This is a good question, and I've got to work on this myself a lot more, you know? It's not easy, man. It's not. I'll be honest, man. Yeah, I gotta work on that a lot more. You know what I mean? Because
you've been in Mike Tyson situations.
Yeah, bro. I'll be honest. I'll be honest, bro. It's a funny story. Now I can look back on it and see because I don't think this kid realized who he got into a fight with, which was me.
Yeah.
I'm running late. Did I tell you the story? Okay, I'll tell you the story now. I'm running late. It's one of the last Showtime fights I worked, by the way. It's funny, this guy, you got to thank this guy for getting this story out of me because I would never usually tell the story, and at least not on a show. So it's one of the last Showtime fights I worked. It was at Barclays Center. It was January 2020, right before the pandemic hit, you know? And it was Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach. So when the fights are in New York, I got a place in New York, so I don't stay in the hotel. Yeah. You know, like I'll just stay at my crib, and then I take the subway. I don't care. Like during the day, like I'm cool with taking the subway in New York City. I don't care. I think it's the fastest way to go. You don't got to worry about parking. You don't got to worry about traffic. So I don't care. Like I'm one of those people. Like I just take the subway. I don't care. It's I'm about my time. I'm not about my luxury. If time sometimes it supersedes luxury. You know what I mean? And then in the case of the subway, the time is always more important for me. So anyway, so I'm running a little bit late. I got to get to the train. I'll get to the train, now when I'm going to work, I usually have my suit on, but I don't have my tie and my jacket. You know, like I kept my jacket on. I'll get to the arena. I'll take it off until we get. So, but my tie's in my pocket. So I got like the buttons are buttoned down. I got my jacket on and then pants, and I got my keys and my cell phone in my hand. I got to the train station. I got to the train. I'm running a little bit late. Honestly, we got to do our rehearsal for the show. I'm in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, my house, right? To the Barclays Center, it's about, let's say, 7-8 stops, you know? So it's about 25 minutes.
I love that. That was like straight Italian. It's about.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, like about 25 minutes, right? So like I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, shit, man, I can't be late for this rehearsal. Because, they're very professional over there, you know? Like regardless of the differences I've had, they run a tight ship. So if anybody, I take the D train, right, from Bensonhurst. So if anybody knows the D train at Barclays Center, to get outside, you got to go up a bunch of stairs, go a bunch of tunnels. You know, it's a little bit of a walk when you get off the train. You don't just, it's not like some train stations, you get off the train and you get outside right away. Yeah. So as soon as I get off the train, I'm running late. I'm going. I'm trying to avoid people. There's traffic. Yeah, I'm going. I'm zooming in and out. And I run up the stairs. I'm going through the halls and through the other train station, through the other trains in the train station. And I must have, listen, if I bump into you, I'll say, excuse me, my bad. Like I know if I bump into you, I'm in a rush, but I know if I'll always say, I'm not rude like that. I didn't touch this guy. You know what I mean? I know I didn't touch this guy. But maybe I must have cut him off because I was darting in and out of people. So maybe I must have cut him off, you know?
Walking, not in a car.
He was probably walking. Yeah, he was walking, but I was like darting between people, you know? Like, because I was trying not to be like, I got shoes on, I got dress pants on, I got a blazer on, and I got a button down that's a little bit unbuttoned, you know? I feel something on the bottom of my shoe, you know, as I get around, like almost like a kick, right? And at first, I took like another 1 or 2 steps. I thought like maybe I almost tripped over my own feet. Like I must have been my own feet, you know? So I remember taking like another 2 steps as I felt that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, nah, bro, somebody kicked my shoe, bro. So I turn around and this guy's like grilling me as he's walking by me. And I'm looking at him and I still got my keys and my phone in my hand, by the way. So my house keys. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, and he's just giving me this grill. I like step around because I was in front of him, right? So like I kind of stop and like look back at him and he's kind of just, and he keeps walking real slow, like grilling me because now I'm asking him a question. So maybe he must have thought I was the nerd in the suit. Maybe he just thought like, I'll kick this guy, I'm just gonna intimidate him.
What'd you ask him?
I asked him, yo, did you kick me? Like general question, I mean, what are you? I mean, but I was like confused because when I turn around, he's giving me an ice grill. So now, to me, it makes him a little bit more guilty. You know, like if I would have turned around and just seen like regular people chatting, I'm telling you, I would have thought like, well, that shit was in my head. I mean, maybe it was nothing. But because I turn around and it's just him and he's like, you know, like never seen Bloodsport, like the guy, when the guy's like, right before the guy, when he fights that African guy, he's about to fight, he's like, you know, so he was like that. So I'm like, okay, that makes him a little bit more guilty in my mind, you know? So I kind of step around, I'm like, yo, did you just kick me? And he doesn't answer me. He just ice grills me and he just keeps walking slow, but he walks by me and he walks past me. So then I'm like, all right, bro, this guy kicked me. So I put my stuff in my pocket and I go to grab him like, yo.
Oh, shit.
But I generally was just going to make him apologize.
But it's New York City. You grab somebody, you know shit about to pop off.
This guy turned around and punched me dead in my mouth.
Oh.
Dead in my mouth. And then it was on. I punched the shit out of him after that. Somebody had to break it up. He didn't hit me again the rest of the fight. As a matter of fact, I remember I had a cut on my hand because I'm busting his teeth. And somebody broke it up. And I remember like they broke it up and he looks at me and then he just starts walking away. And I'm thinking like, yo, he's walking, which mind you, he changed his mind where he was going because we were both walking the same direction. Now the fight made him make a U-turn. He was going the other way. So he starts walking away and I'm like, yo, and he was going towards another set of steps. I'm like, I was about to go run at him and kick him down the stairs too. I was so pissed off, bro. And somebody across the platform yells, get him, Paulie! So I was like, oh man, I'm like, screw this guy. Let me get to work, man. Yeah. You know, he was already walking away. I caught him with some good shots myself. But yo, now I'm bleeding inside my mouth. Yo, he got me with a nice shot. And I get to work and, you know, we have to like corporate it up now, you know? Like I told my boy, like, yo, get me some alcohol pads, you know, I got I got a cut on my hand. I'm bleeding. My hands are bleeding from his teeth, you know? Anyway, I went to work. Nobody knew anything. You see me. So that goes to show you again how you avoid the Mike Tyson situations. I try to avoid them as best as I can. I tried to avoid that one. I try to talk my way out of that one. I try to talk my way out of them. Could I have just left it alone when he didn't answer me and just grilled me? Maybe, I guess. Yeah, that's why you got to maybe let your pride not get the best of you. Maybe you got to kind of learn to chill. I work on that every day. Not just for the risk that it is to me, but also, you know, I think we just gotta, in a society where people suck today, we just gotta strive to be better people, man. I'm trying the best I can every day. And again, that's the money aside. When somebody, you know, with somebody like me could get in trouble, like you talking about Mike Tyson situations, but just in general, I try every day to be a better person, and you know, it's not always easy.
Cisco Promotions is asking, I have watched many of your video fight breakdowns and you're good at style matchups. So with that being said, how would you see a fight with Jermall Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade playing out if it was to happen?
In Andrade's prime, I thought he was the best one of the bunch. At this point, I saw him with Liam Williams in Fort Lauderdale when he fought at the Hard Rock. I went to the fight. And it just wasn't the same Andre to me anymore. You know, he's a reflex fighter. Reflex fighters kind of slow down first, I feel like. He's not the same guy anymore. I think right now Charlo will beat him. But in prime for prime, as good as Charlo is, I think Andre would have beat them all of them. I mean, Canelo, all of them. And Charlo and Andre's prime, he would have beat them all. Golovkin would have been the toughest fight for him, but I'm thinking he could have snuck it in. If he didn't get stopped, he would have snuck in, beaten Golovkin to it. But we'll never find out. We'll never know now because he's not in his prime, and I feel like he probably loses to Charlo right now too.
Tell you, man, because as a famous person, I think 3 hours, I'd have been the fuck out of here already, man.
Where am I going, bro?
I don't know. San Diego, baby.
Bro, I don't know. It's only my second time in my life I've been to San Diego.
Bro, the Padres
Yo, that's amazing.
Tonight.
It's only my second time.
Yeah.
I said the Padres are playing tonight. I know you like some baseball.
Call Pacheco, man. Get the package.
Pateron, right?
Pateron
294.
294. I got 40 Thief. He says top 3 favorite movies or movie recommendations, Paulie.
I mean, this is a personal kind of everybody has their personality and what they like. My favorite movie is number 1. People will probably be surprised. Is Braveheart. Braveheart is my favorite movie.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Braveheart is my favorite. Then after that, it's probably the movies everybody expects. Number 2 is Raging Bull. And number 3 is probably good.
Shit.
Number 3 is probably good. Number 3 is probably Goodfellas.
Is Braveheart the one where he's like, freedom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus true story,
Bro, Raging Bull
fighting for something,
Raging Bull has to be the all-time worst movie in fucking boxing.
Don't start. Don't get me going. Don't get me going.
Bro,
one of the
how'd you sit through that?
Oh, man, I love it. I can sit through it. Bro, you know what's crazy? I'll tell you what else is crazy.
I can't believe
I'll tell you. You know how this is how, bro. You're the worst because I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something else about Raging Bull. Obviously now, my girl's at home, so it's all good. But in my life, you know how many girls I've taken to my house to watch Raging Bull? Every single one of them love it, bro. It's a money maker.
What?
Girls love Raging Bull.
Yeah, because they're frustrated. Like, yo, fucking take me to the room. I don't want to watch this shit no more.
No, bro, they love it, bro. They be talking, they be telling me about it later. Like, oh, I love that movie. Like, I'm telling you, bro, girl,
Paulie,
boxing,
you are who you are, bro.
They're
trying to get in your pockets.
It's a great boxing movie, but boxing takes the background of it, you know what I mean? Which is why it's cool. And then it's just a cool story. Maybe I'm partial because I'm Italian American. World champion. For me, the time of the movie, the era that it's in my opinion, is the best time to be both a boxing world champion, because boxing is one of the most popular sports in America in those days. Maybe the number 2 sport behind baseball, right? Would you agree? I mean,
especially back then.
In those days. So it's the best time to be a boxing world champion because you're like a 5-star celebrity, right? And it's also the best era to be an Italian American. Like Italian Americans, those times were like, well, hot. You know what I mean? Like, I think they was hot until the 80s, Italian Americans, but 40s and 50s, it was like, I think it was like
that was
it was our time. Like you had Willie Pep in those days. You had like, Graziano, LaMotta, Basilio. The gangsters were popular. They were like super celebs back then. Not that I'm not defending nor condoning nor condemning either. Don't get me wrong, because the government is your gangsters too. Well, that's another story for another day. But regardless, I think it was just the best era to be that combination of person, and LaMotta had that, and then still found a way to blow it. Yeah, I mean, and for me, it's like, wow, that's crazy. What a story. And then the redemption is that movie set him up for life. That making that movie about his life, he found a way to blow the two best, the double dip combination of being an Italian American in that era and being a boxing world champion in that era. Crazy personality, wild person. In the midst of Italian American culture, which is a nutty culture, it's like I always tell people, it's a bit of a cousin of Italian. It's not directly like Italians. It's a crazy culture, funny at times, cool at times, but nonetheless, he found a way to blow that. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you're an Italian American boxing world champion in those days. For me, you must have it made, and he found a way to blow it, and like his life came apart. And then there's a redemption and stuff. So that's sort of the synopsis of the movie. It's
holy shit. So it's like Adrian Broner, the Raging Bull of this generation. If he gets to come back,
you know what? He's in a position to kind of do it, right? I mean,
because he was thought of to be so much.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. Jake never remade himself in the ring. He blew that. He's lucky they made the movie about him. But even now, when they make movies about you, they don't cut the same kind of deals anymore. See, back then, life was more fair. Jake had royalties to that movie for life. When they made Vinny Pazienza's movie, they gave him, and Mickey Ward's movie years later, decades later, they gave them like a flat fee, and then you're done. You don't get no royalties, you get nothing for life.
Wow.
So for Jake getting royalties for life from a movie that became a monster hit, he was set for life. You know what I mean? So that comeback also was because of the business moves and life being more fair at that time. Now they'll make the same movie and not give you the same kind of deal anymore, you know, because Hollywood just got even more greedy.
That's crazy that
so his comeback story wasn't in the ring. You know what I mean? Like his time in the ring passed. He didn't get to come back get to come back in the ring. His redemption came from them making a movie about him and the movie being a hit because of the way it played out.
How sure are you about the Mickey Ward situation? Because I thought that Mark Wahlberg did that movie, and you know he was trying to get that movie bought, just like the Rocky, and everybody kept saying no, and then he finally did it.
Mark got it done, but I think Mickey had.
Damn, and he cut him a flat fee. Fuck.
Yeah, I think it was a flat fee. Yeah,
that's horrible, bro.
Yeah. But if it wasn't for Mark, the movie wouldn't have got made.
Absolutely, you know, so. But you know, fuck, flat fee sucks. Last two, Paulie. Big Casual. Do you think Charlo's style would give Canelo more problems tomorrow night than Bivol would this weekend?
Two different kind of fights. I don't know. I would have loved to see the Charlo fight. You know, two guys who are kind of the same size, clashing styles, very athletic. You know, people always talk about, has Canelo fought that African American style? You know, you haven't really seen it a lot. I mean, Caleb kind of had that style, but you know, I feel like Charlo is that style with a bit more firepower. You know, not to mention he's the African American, but I don't know. I would have. I think Bivol brings some problems to the fight. There's a lot of things. Again, you guys know how I feel about Eastern Europeans. I think he's there to fight, and I don't think he's going to break that easily. But the style matchup with Charlo, I would have always loved to see it. I fear that probably we're not going to get to see it now, or we, you know, they'll just wait it out. You know, it's because it's not like where we had David before. David's younger. I think David eventually, though he keeps looking the way he's looking, he's going to force Canelo to fight him. I mean, it's going to get to the point where if David keeps looking the way he's looking, people are going to start ridiculing Canelo if he doesn't fight Benavidez, you know? While Charlo's kind of the same age as Canelo, so you can kind of smoke him out and wait him out, kind of like he did Golovkin, you know? We'll see.
The best dad ever in Baltimore says, how do you feel about the lightweight division? True criticism of the top guys. Did Broner really take your girl? That's a side piece, man.
No, I mean, I don't know. Listen, I think that was part of the great sell of the fight. But no, it wasn't my girl. It wasn't even a girl I was dealing with at the time where I was. Does
that show how marketable you and Broner were in that fight? That fucking 10 years later, people still talking about, he took your side piece.
You know what's funny? It's pretty funny that this is why you can't take yourself so seriously in life. This is kind of a lesson too. And I don't really. Much of people wouldn't think I do. You know, that's why, you know, I like my life. It's good, you know, like I could laugh at things, I could cry about things, or I could complain about things. I'll tell you the way they are. If you don't want to believe them, you don't have to believe them. But one thing about me, I'll always admit things, whether they are good for me, they make me look good or make me look bad. So if I'm telling you something wasn't the way it was, you just look at my track record. And when things are bad for me, I admit them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's the way it was. This kind of sucks. You know, it is, you know, I felt this way. You know, you see me describe my fights, even my worst moments in fights. I'll describe them for you. I don't try to sugarcoat them. I'll let you know. You know, it doesn't matter to me. So if I tell you something didn't happen, my track record should kind of make you believe that, you know, it was probably the way I'm telling you it was. But ironically, the two things people talk about me most now is thinking Broner took my girl. I think even Broner still believes he took my girl. I'm not quite sure, but I think somebody sent me an interview he did with Vlad TV. I think he still thinks it was my girl, you know? Like, I actually had a girl at that time. Like, it wasn't my girl.
They was getting you in trouble. That's not even your girl.
No, but no, at the time I fight, because by the time I fought him, I hadn't even talked to that girl in months, you know? But whatever. I mean, at the time I even had a girl. But regardless, I just didn't like that she was trying to like get airplay off of the fight, and it was just annoying me. Like, I just wanted them to dead her, because I knew she was trying to get on one of those like reality shows like Basketball Wives or Football Wives or whatever. She just wanted to do one of those things, you know what I mean? So I was like, yo, stop giving her airplay. Like, this is like a talentless idiot. Like, you give her airplay, she's gonna wind up on VH1, and she, you know, at our expense, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, like, it's so weird. But going back to what I was saying, the two things people know, at least like refer to me to, are knocked down by McGregor and Broner taking my girl.
Holy shit.
Neither are true. It's crazy. Like, and you've heard me describe certain moments in the Cotto fight, certain moments in the Khan fight. If you guys go to Paulie TV, like bad moments where, like, I'll freely admit to you, I was hurt here. I was like, shit that I'm just making me look bad, you know. But I mean, I'll admit it to you if it's true. Like, I'll tell you. But when it's not true, I'll look at my track record. I mean, I'll admit it all. So why would I tell you something's not true when it's true? You know. So, but ironically, even if I have this kind of personality and my track record tells you I have this kind of personality, people still they still take the bait on those two things. And it's probably the two biggest things, really. And neither are true. It's crazy. Sucks. Not even the McGregor thing. It's not even anywhere close to true.
Brandon in Houston says, your favorite episode of The Sopranos?
That's everybody's favorite episode of The Sopranos, when they're in the woods. Paulie, and who was it? Was it with Chris in the woods, or was it?
No.
When they're in the woods with the Czechoslovakians. When they're chasing the Russian guy, like the Russian sniper guy.
Yeah. No,
but that is actually my favorite and the most disappointing, because they never followed it up. Like the Sopranos script writing was so weird. Like, you could probably make a movie just on following up that, that episode. They never followed up that episode. It's just like the next week you went to another episode, and it was like they didn't even mention it.
Did you guys see?
Not all the time, though.
No, they didn't know it all the time. But bro, sometimes it was fun. Yeah. Like, that's the best episode. That was my favorite episode.
Did you guys see the spinoff with with Tony as like younger?
It's not a spinoff.
The prequel. Now, I don't do anything modern anymore, because I've noticed they ruined everything, bro. They ruined Coming to America again. Whatever. Point Break. They ruined. I won't do it anymore.
Wow, Point Break.
I will not. I won't do it anymore. I probably won't even watch this new Top Gun, bro.
What is just?
I won't.
Wait, well, he's in it though. He's in it. Tom is in it.
Eddie Murphy was in the new Coming to America. It still sucked. You know what I mean?
What is your
Did it suck?
thoughts on The Sopranos as a series?
You can't make a movie like that anymore, bro. It's too PC. You can't make a movie like that, bro. A movie like that has to be raw, and that's what made it great, funny, and everything. Hollywood got too PC. They ruin every movie now.
Paulie, just your thoughts on The Sopranos as a series.
I thought it was awesome. Might be my favorite series ever. Out of all series.
It's mine. Only reason I was asking. So your thoughts? Did you watch it live? Like when it was airing?
Yeah, I would watch it. I mean, I wasn't home every Sunday to catch every episode, but I was keeping up.
Because for me, it was funny. I felt that.
I'm from Bensonhurst. Everybody had to be home to watch Sopranos on Sunday nights.
No, I just felt that, like, when I try to watch it, because obviously I'm a lot younger than you guys.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell.
This guy. I felt like I was too young when I first. I think I was maybe 17 or 18 the first time I tried to watch it. Yeah, and I don't think I appreciated it as much. And then maybe like 2-3 years later, I went back, and that's my favorite all time.
That's when you come of age, you understand things better. First of all, I remember being a kid when I was first learning English and watching reruns of Three's Company. And then I watched, I'm dating myself now and aging myself. But if you guys are young, you probably won't even know what Three's Company is. But you remember Three's Company?
Hell yeah.
He doesn't.
Come and knock on my door. They don't know about that shit,
I've been
bro.
waiting for you.
They're too young.
But I watched Three's Company as an adult, and I'm like, yo, I thought the show was funny. I missed 3/4 of the jokes because they're all like subtle, dirty jokes.
Yeah,
and I thought this show was hilarious when I was a kid because Jack Tripper's faces that he makes. I thought it was funny. But bro, when you're an adult, you're like, you catch so much more. You're like, man, this show's even better than I thought. It's crazy.
I got Mr. PBC who says, would you still fight Conor? He did say he knocked you down.
Only winner take all. That's it. I just turned down
meaning what? Like, well,
you can't do a winner take all, really, because the commissions won't let you. So what you would have to do is the loser gets $10,000 and the winner takes all the money. All the purse money.
Wow.
I would only do it that way.
But $10,000 doesn't even cover your camp expenses if you lose.
That's my problem, bro. I'm not losing the fight. I got one around against me, bro. Especially if I'm in shape. But he's not gonna do that. That'll be the only way I would do it. You can offer me whatever you want to offer me. I actually just turned down an exhibition on the Barrera Hatton card in England. They wanted me to do it against Dan Hardy of the ex-UFC fighter, boxing. But I turned it down. I'm not looking to fight anymore. I don't want to fight anymore.
Training camp's a bitch, man. Who wants to go through that?
and I'm busy doing what I like anyway, you know, and it's not as difficult, and it makes me good money. Like I don't have to do that, but for the right satisfaction, I would do it with Conor. But it have to be the right satisfaction. The right satisfaction is not just beating his ass at this point, because he dragged us along and he dragged the whole lot. So I would have to be beating his ass and making him go home without a check or with barely a check. You know, that would be the only satisfaction. And then obviously he's never going to risk that because he knows what actually happened on that day and he knows what would happen in the ring. So he's no shot at that happened. But that would be the only way I would do it, when it takes all.
Twin in Florida says, I get annoyed with the argument that some people...
Damn, bro, I thought you said 2 questions like 4 questions ago.
Yo, it's Paulie. People keep... this shit keep... Look, this is 23 minutes ago. The next one is 13 minutes ago. They keep coming, man. This is live entertainment. He's got to cut out. It's like I told David. But they said it's the last 2. We'll stop with Joel Valderrama as the last one. This is Twin in Florida. And he says, I get annoyed with the argument that some people have that Canelo-GGG one wasn't a close fight. Like yourself. Kind of does a disservice to a classic fight. What is it you see in that fight that makes you conclude a clear winner? I'll be looking for it, Paulie, but I actually watched that fight so many times, I don't think it'll change my mind. So why is it decisive for you that Triple G won?
I mean, again, I haven't seen the fight in years now, but Golovkin bossing it, Golovkin forcing the fight. They're fighting Golovkin's fight. Canelo is very timid in the fight. He lands the occasional shot here and there, but it doesn't get respect from Golovkin. Golovkin has the consistency in the fight. He's making the fight, and he's consistently making the fight. And you may have a criticism, say, oh, Golovkin didn't cut off the ring with Canelo in that fight either, but Canelo has such a dangerous left hook. Cutting off the ring on that side is a little bit risky. So I can see why Golovkin would have just followed him around. Listen, Golovkin doesn't know he's going to get robbed. So for him, okay, we'll do it this way, and we'll take it to points and beat him easily on points. I bet you if Golovkin knows he's going to get robbed, he may try to cut off the ring and take the risk on that hook, and he's probably going to stop Canelo if he does that. Because Canelo, for me, made the distance only because he's able to find the out. For the second fight, he made some adjustments, and you had for me is a fight that's not appreciated enough, where both superstars made tremendous adjustments in the fight, and it was such high level chess that I think it's so high level that I think it goes above. I think it goes above most people's heads that watch the second fight. But the first fight, I mean, it's just not. You can't give me enough rounds for Canelo to win, even if you want to give me an extra round or 2. I thought he lost 9-10 rounds. Okay, so he lost 4 or 5. You definitely can't give him. Definitely can't give him 6 rounds. I mean, you can find me 6 rounds. You can give Canelo in the first fight. You're being very biased. Very biased.
Yo, producer, we have to set up a date to do a live film study, simulcast, stream to both the Boxing Voice and Paulie TV, where we watch Canelo versus Golovkin 1. I guess we'll do it if he wins this fight. Then that will set up the big third fight. That would be good. Which means
good segue into a third fight. Sure.
Yeah, it makes more sense for us to review the first fight.
I think he's gonna fight Golovkin either way, even if he loses this fight, right? I mean, it's on the contract.
My intelligent co-host actually said that. He said that it's set up. The contract is set up in a way that if the Bivol fight is too dangerous, you go into the older Golovkin to get Canelo back into the win column.
Yeah, that's why I think he picked the matchroom deal. Because if he loses to Charlo, he's got to go and fight David Benavidez. I mean, you're not getting any softies there.
But, I mean, they did hook him up. It could have been Earl. It could have been Earl at a catchweight.
Actually, what I said was that the contract is set up to where Golovkin is not guaranteed to be next. So if the Better Beef Smith winner...
I don't know. Yesterday, Eddie said Canelo's not fighting Arthur. You would have to check it, but maybe they talk. I mean, he is a big ass puncher. I think Canelo can beat him because he's been down. So I'm looking at
numerous times.
I'm looking at Better Beef being down by way lesser men than Canelo, and I'm like, all right, Canelo should have the skill to find that right hand on him.
That guy just barely touches you, and you seeing stars, man. I don't know.
Marcus Brown lasted how many rounds?
Marcus is more athletic, but he got broken. The will to win gets broken from you. It's taken from you way before that.
But he doesn't have the skill to fend off a Better Beef the way that Canelo does, right? He don't have that experience. He don't have the head movement. Damn sure ain't got the left hook or the power.
He's saying it'll never happen, and it hasn't happened. I mean, this is the second fight he's fighting at light heavyweight. He's fighting all of them but Better Beef. So I think he knows too. And listen, I don't even knock that. I mean, it's a bigger guy, it's another weight class, and it's a very big puncher at the weight class. So, I don't feel like you should force Canelo to fight him anyway, but I don't think it's a debate. He doesn't beat Better Beef. And I think even he knows it when I'm fighting him, but it's okay. It's not a criticism. He's already the fact he's fighting at light heavyweight is already a big deal.
So you don't think his plan is to undisputed again? Because that's obviously what everyone assumes. Like, oh, he's going for undisputed again.
No, I think he's intelligently picking, but Bivol is very risky. But I think it wouldn't be an intelligent pick to pick Beterbiev, and I don't think it's that important to him. I think he'd risk the loss to Usyk. I mean, you're risking the whole enchilada with Usyk. So even if you lose, you know what? What does it matter? You know, it's Usyk. So it's win-win.
At fucking heavyweight.
Yeah, win-win. You know, so. But other than that, I think he's picking and choosing. But listen, the basket is full of tough fights. Regardless, Bivol's not an easy fight. I think this is maybe his toughest fight since Golovkin.
If you are Usyk and his team, do you accept?
They already said they're willing to do it at 201.
He can make 201, Usyk? Yeah. I wasn't sure.
That's what Iga said. Iga said he would do it. He spoke for him on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, why make weight classes, right? I mean,
Iga's actually said, you can find it on Twitter, he actually said Usyk would make cruiserweight for Canelo, but Canelo wants it at 201. I guess he wants a heavyweight title.
He wants
to be the new Roy.
Heavyweight title, yeah. True.
Last one. It's not a question from Joel Valderrama. He says, not a question, Paulie, reminds me of Christopher from The Sopranos.
Chris Maltesante, yeah. I've got
I don't know.
He was in Bad Boys, remember? He was in the tire shop, yeah.
He was in Bad Boys.
The first Bad Boys.
Oh, man.
All right, since you stuck around, we got another one. Get him out of here, producer. That's your job. Save him. New York Bullet, ever wonder what it would have been like to have gotten the Mayweather fight? Oh my God, that's true. There was a time when Paulie was getting I was
in the conversation for Pacquiao and Mayweather at various times in my career. Yeah, I wondered, but I don't live in the past. So, because if you live in the past, if you start to go down the what if rabbit hole, you're gonna depress yourself and just get yourself your head spinning around. You know, sometimes I start to question it, and then I'm like, what's the point? You know, what's the point of even wondering that? You know,
when you sit back and look at your career, what are you most proud of with your career?
You know, I thought like when I was younger, I would be proud of, you know, championships and all this other stuff, and like, you know, like I would. But now, bro, seeing how dangerous it was, and seeing how sneaky and sly the business is, and seeing how many pitfalls there are both to your health and to your finances, I'm most proud of just being in a good position in my life after retirement, you know, and being able to still be involved in the sport where people still demand from me and want to hear me be involved, want to see me involved in the sport. I think that's probably what I'm most proud of about the whole thing, which if I would have given you my younger self would have seen this answer 20 years ago, would have thought I was crazy, you know, but yeah, I mean, you know a lot more when you're older, so you learn to appreciate the subtle things.
Well, those are all the questions.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.